Hello guys, welcome back to another YouTube video here today, and today we are going over my update on Xtreme FireRate Harlowe. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe and comment down below on other builds you would like to see and other type of videos you would also like to see. We're updating Xtreme FireRate Harlowe today, and we've made some changes to the build. We're using the stray. So this stray is Jacobson SMG, which is really nice for the takedown, really good for mobbing. Then we're using the swing song. This thing is absolutely a monster on his build. Shred bosses to pieces like nothing. So will the hard dark. We're also using the hard dark with Ripper and shotgun. Max fire rate on the hard dark with Ripper and shotgun that I haven't gotten it yet, but I've seen that so it can, the max is 7.4 fire rate from what I heard. I haven't gotten one yet, but I've been farming really hard on stream to get one. If you guys would like to come to my live streams and come support the streams, that'd be really appreciated also. And then we're using the Slippy still. The Slippy is just here for extra fire rate procs, which is nice. Shiny war paint with fire rate on it, which is really good. The shiny war paint also gives you fire rate. And then we're using a dataless enhancement now. So when you're firing a gun that's dataless enhancement, 1% fire rate per stack. So you can get up to 50% more fire rate with this, which is good. And then we're using the triple amp guardian angel, which is really nice. And then we're using the phlebotomist. Now the phlebotomist has 4 in cyctron and 3 in sustained reaction, and then axial irritation, which you're going to want on it. For the firmware, we're using 3 dead eyes. You get more gun accuracy, gun to critical damage, and every critical hit grants 50% more critical hit damage of the max stacks of 5. And then we're using 2 airstrikes. You get 20% more splash radius and 20% more splash damage, which is really, really, really nice. And then for the skill tree, we're going to start off with blue because it's going to be a lot easier. We're using 5 parallel circuit. So you get 30% more gun damage after triggering or re-triggering your action skill. And then we're using 5 bright futures. So you can also get this after re-triggering or re-triggering your action skills. So 30% more fire right here. And then 5 in the red tree. So we can get 36% more fire rate from the red tree, which is really good. Between those two, you have 6% fire rate increase. And not including your group study stacks, also boosting your fire rate. So then we're using 5 in momentum. You get 25% more critical hit damage. And then we're using 5 in neutron decay. So you get 10% more gun damage per stack. You're doing radiation damage, which we're always doing radiation damage. And then we're using 3 in critical overflow. So you get up 36% more gun damage overshoot you have. And then 2 in confirmed reality. So you get action skill cooldown per shot. So really nice. 5 in excited state, so you get 35% more critical damage. 3 in distribution deflection, so you get shield restore of your damage dealt. 1 in acceleration, so you get some lifesteal, so you have some survivability, which is good. And then 1 in refraction, so you have a 6% ricochet chance, 12% ricochet chance. But now this refraction can do some insane damage if you run a lot of points in here. So in the future, we will probably end up putting more points in here with this build. And then we're using 5 in Harlowe certainly principle, so you get 30% more gun, 50% more gun handling, which is really nice. And then you get 50% more bonus gun handling. Whenever Harlowe critical hits an enemy, she gains a chance to entangle it, and it restores a portion of her entangle guns. So you get 5 ammo added back on critical hits. 1 in meltdown, so you get bonus radiation damage on your critical hits, which is really, really nice. And then we're using 5 in decoherence, so you get 25% more damage to entangle enemies, and then you get an extra 15% into that are inside the flux generator. And then we're using 3 in Latin charge, so you get 30% more bonus damage of the damage dealt of your overshield with your guns and melee attacks and action skills, which is really good. In the future, we also will end up putting more points in here because Latin charge is very, very good. And then for these specializations, we are using the best defense, so you get damage dealt when the shields are full. And then we're using CQC, so you get 30% more fire rate. So when we throw the Slippy at the boss, we get 30% more fire rate. And then we're using Rotary this, so you get 1% more gun damage per stack. So this is really nice. And then we're using Groundbreaker, which is really fun. We're just using this because it's not needed, but Groundbreaker is a lot of fun to use. It's not needed, like I said, you could swap out something else. Why is Epic opening? I didn't open that. But you could also swap out for, like, you know, in the zone or bullets scared me if you'd like. You really don't need Groundbreaker. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.